Hi everyone, in this video on arithmetic sequences, we're going to be working through this typical exam style question in which we need to find an unknown common difference. Now, if you're up for it, go ahead and press pause and try solving this before watching the rest of this video. Either way though, let's get started. I'll move this question to the side, like so. And as I always do, I'll go ahead and write SOL for solution. In this question, we're told in an arithmetic sequence, the first term is 5 and the eighth term is 54. And we need to determine the common difference. Okay, well, the first thing I'd like to draw your attention towards here is that we're clearly told that the sequence that we're dealing with is an arithmetic sequence. And this is important because it tells us that to get from one term to the next of the sequence, we're always adding the same amount, known as the common difference. And that information is also important because it tells us that, just like as for any arithmetic sequence, the formula for the nth term, which we've seen before, is the following. The nth term, u sub n, is equal to the first term, u sub 1, plus n minus 1 in parentheses, times the common difference, d. And I'll go ahead and box that formula. Remember, that's the formula for the nth term of an arithmetic sequence. And I should say, in many exams, this formula is given. For instance, if you're an IB mathematics student, this would be in your formula booklet. That being said though, I carry on retrieving the information I can from this question. The next important thing I pick up on is the fact that we're told that the first term is 5. And so I can already make a note of that. I'll make a little bullet point here. We know that the first term, so u sub 1, is equal to 5. And we're also told that the eighth term is 54. So that's a second bullet point. U8 is equal to 54. And of course, last but not least, we need to find this sequence's common difference. So that's D. So D equals to question mark. All right, well, let's see how to do this. Looking at the information we're given here, as well as the formula we have, we notice that the common difference D that we're trying to find is part of this formula. Indeed, it's right here. Furthermore, looking at the formula still, we notice that it includes the first term of the sequence, which is part of the information that we're given. So, for the arithmetic sequence we're dealing with here, because we know that the first term is equal to 5, we can already state that the formula for the nth term must look something like this. The nth term is equal to the first term, which is 5, plus n minus 1 times the common difference we're trying to find, d. And you don't have to do this, but I like to keep track of which bits of information I've used as I solve the problem. So in this case, since we've just replaced the first term, u sub 1, by its value 5, we've used this first bit of information here, u sub 1 equals to 5. So I'll put a little tick mark next to it, like so. The idea now is to use this second bit of information we're given, the fact that the eighth term, u sub 8, is equal to 54. Indeed, using this bit of information alongside the formula we have here, we'll be able to find the common difference d. And here's how. For the eighth term, u sub 8, we know that the eighth term is equal to 54. But we also know that according to this formula, the eighth term should be equal to 5 plus 8 minus 1 times the common difference d. Indeed, using the fact that for the eighth term, n must equal to 8, alongside this formula, we can go ahead and state that the eighth term, u sub 8, must also be equal to 5 plus, in parentheses, 8 minus 1 times d. And since 8 minus 1 is 7, this quickly becomes u sub 8, which equals to 5 plus 7 times d, which I could just write as 7d without a pair of parentheses. We're nearly there. All I do now is use the fact that we know that the eighth term, u sub 8, is equal to 54. And so copying this equation but replacing u sub 8 by 54, it quickly becomes, and I'll write this up here, 54 is equal to 5 plus 7d. Notice now that what we're faced with is an equation with one single unknown, which is the common difference d we're trying to find. So all we have to do is solve this equation for d. And let's go ahead. I'll start by getting rid of this 5 that's being added to the right-hand side. and I do so by subtracting 5 from there. But of course, anything I do on one side of the equation, I must do on the other, so I subtract 5 from the left-hand side as well. And so this becomes 54 minus 5, which is 49, and that's equal to 5 minus 5, which is 0, plus 7d. And so 0 plus 7d, of course, well, that's just equal to 7d. Last but not least, since we have 7d here, that means 7 times d, and so to get rid of this 7, we're going to divide that right-hand side by 7. And as always, I must do the same on the other side of the equation as well. So on the left-hand side, we end up with 49 divided by 7. And in fact, I'll write that like this. That's 49 over 7, which must equal to the right-hand side, which is now 7d divided by 7, which is just d. And finally, since 49 divided by 7 is equal to 7, this turns into 7 equals to d, or better still, d equals to 7. And that's the final answer. We've now found this arithmetic sequence's unknown common difference. And there we go. That's it for this tutorial.